Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Great Rich Show. I'm your host, Grady Rich, and today I have a very, very special guest with me today, Crispy Moist, also known as the Black Trans Jewish Woman. Crispy, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, what's up? Transracial black woman here. I got it signed on my shit. World's most bass and famous drummer. All that. Right. I'm a drummer. I do political commentary, political debates, all that. I'm interested in many things. Looking to get back into making music here soon. I just plugged my guitar back in for the first time in 2 years. That's the first time I played guitar today in 2 years.
Oh yeah, what kind of
So
guitar do you got?
yeah, I'm looking to get back into that. I'm looking to have a good interview, answer a lot of good questions, have have uh have a lot of thought provoking responses, etc. All that. So glad to
Sounds
be
good.
here. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Well, let's just get right into it. I think the number one issue amongst young voters, especially as young men, is immigration, economy,
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff to do with Israel, whether that be APAC, foreign wars, or just like influence to our politics. What are your takes on the mass influx of immigration to the U.S. in the past 50 years?
I mean, it needs to end. We need an immigration moratorium. And the reason why we need an immigration moratorium is I hammer the race issue, okay? Because it is the immigration issue. It's a race issue, okay? It's not a culture issue because culture just stems down from people. Okay, that's what people really mean when they say our cultures can't blend. I mean, you're saying people can't blend. That's what you're really saying. So at the end of the day, it is a race issue. It's also not an IQ issue, believe it or not. It's not an IQ issue because if it was an IQ issue, we would just import Ashkenazi Jews and Asians. So at the end of the day, the immigration issue is a race issue. They're being used to replace the European population of America, and that's the biggest issue. We can talk about how immigrants don't benefit us in this way, that way. They're just replacing the population, and we should just talk about that because that's the most important part.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff, like race wise, has really been just anti white since the civil rights movement. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
when we have, like, we've had like minor race wars in the US since, the Birmingham riots in the 60s, going up into Rodney King in 92, Trayvon Martin, stuff like this, and then George Floyd 2021.
yeah.
It kind of just it seems like that time gap is starting to shorten and shorten even more. Do you think it's going to get to a point to where instead of every being like it was every 20 years, now it's every like 3 years? Is that going to keep shortening and we're going to see more violence?
I do think so. I think we're going to see more violence. I think we're going to see a collapse. I think it's going to get worse and worse and worse because I mean conditions have already been getting worse and worse and worse, which is why more and more people are getting involved and more people are getting radical. It doesn't matter like how where they get radical. Like what I've noticed is conservatives they just keep going more to the right, and then the liberals just keep going more to the left. Right. That's what I've noticed. And I don't know if you believe in horseshoe theory, but hopefully horseshoe theory can help us out here, but I don't really know. But
Explain
yeah,
the
conditions
horseshoe
are going to
theory.
get worse. Riots are going to get worse. All that. Obviously, they've already been happening for a long time. So if
Mhm.
it'll definitely be more frequent.
Explain the horseshoe theory for the people out there.
Yeah, basically, the farther left you go, the farther right you go, you basically come to the same conclusion. It's the big nose people. So like, it's kind of like what it means. Yeah.
That is interesting, isn't it? Like we're seeing people who are radical leftists and like we have like black nationalists on the internet and white nationalists going, "You know what? We actually agree on one thing, and that's like we want the best for our people and we're
Yeah.
actively being enslaved by one group of people." I think in the 60s you had many black nationalists and white nationalists trying to work together to expose this stuff, but they always got assassinated under like ridiculous circumstances too that were just extremely suspicious.
Yeah. Rockwell worked with
Malcolm
not
X.
worked with, but the Nation of Islam and Rockwell's group they work together. So yeah, you're right about that.
I mean, donating to each other's campaign. The Nazi
Yeah.
Party was protesting Malcolm X's arrest. I mean, like this stuff was real, and it wasn't about. And people misinterpret this and think that it was about they would just completely support each other. It was like, hold on, they are like us on the opposite end of the aisle.
They
Like
both believed in the same solution, and that's separating. That's what they both believed in at the end of the day. They both believed that they should separate. So that's
they
why they
knew
got
what was
along.
best for their people.
Yeah, they knew it was best.
Mhm.
They both believed in that. And there's photos of Rockwell at Malcolm X's speeches. They got along, right?
Mhm. That
And I have Farrakhan's book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. That's a really good read. Anyone who's out there want to learn about the slave trade, that's a really good read. It's probably one of the best books on it.
well, talk about slave trade then. Go into that.
Yeah, I mean, it was overwhelmingly represented by Sephardic Jews and other kinds of Jews, right? There's most of the ships were owned by Jews, majority of the plantations were owned by Jews, etc. Smuggling overrepresented by Jews, etc. That's basically what the book's about. And a lot of people that are labeled under history as white men weren't actually really white guys. They were actually Jews. So um that's basically the whole book. And people will tell you it's like, oh, it wasn't Jews, it was the white supremacists or something like that. But I mean, it can just be further from the truth.
It seems like Jews are only white when it benefits them, but when you call them out and say, "Hey, white guy," they're like, "Oh no, sorry, I'm Jewish. Don't misconceptuate me." It's always like this.
Yeah,
I'm white until I start getting attacked, and then I'm Jewish, and I'm. It's like, did you see that clip of the
reminds me of
British
Jake
man?
Lang.
It reminds you of Jake Lang. Well, did
Yeah, it
you
reminds me of
see
Jake. That's what
the
Jake
British
Lang
interview?
does.
The British interviewer was talking to an African man outside of it was in New Jersey, and he was like, "So why are you trying to preach violence against me?" And there was a Jewish guy behind the black guy telling the black man like attack him, threatening the British guy. And this has been going over X. So it's like that's like Western society in a nutshell. The Jew taking the African migrant saying, "Hey, go stab that white girl. Go kill that white boy." We saw this in the UK recently. An 18-year-old white man was stabbed to death for no reason by a Sikh with a 10-inch dagger. And those are illegal in the UK, but if
Yeah,
you're a Sikh, you can get away with it.
he got
Um,
away with it because he cried racism. But I saw earlier today that guy's getting charged. So something good.
I think
So
the UK judiciary system is going to have to start charging these people because you are throwing yourself actively into a civil war. If you're not
well, yeah,
careful, you will throw yourself into a civil war. Do you
yeah.
think that all Western countries are going to have some sort of like civil unrest and civil war coming within the next 10 to 20 years? Or maybe in 5
Mm,
years?
if it's a civil war, I don't think it'll be like a boots on the ground war. It'll be something different. I feel like I feel like a war would push people to get up and do something, and they obviously wouldn't want that, like a huge civil war. So they would have to be a little bit more discreet about it. So it'd be like I think it's called Cold War. They would have to try something like that, right?
Yeah, it would be like a North and South type thing. Like I think many people, when
Yeah.
we talk about Civil War in our time, they think about that wouldn't happen. We wouldn't mobilize. No, that's not what we're talking about. It's like 2020, like the peak of the riots in BLM times like six. That's what we would probably see
Yeah.
as like a Civil War thing, where you had Antifa and Proud Boys like fighting and stabbing each other. I think that's what we would see on a
Yep.
higher scale. Obviously, the Proud Boys are fully like infiltrated by feds now, and we would never see them do anything ever again. Um, that's also another thing too. Why is it that these traditionalist groups, and I'm not bringing up Patriot Front, I'm saying groups like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, they're infiltrated by feds, but they also let people like gay Muslims in there. I don't understand. Like we're pushing traditional conservative values, but it's always like this. Oh, he's one of the good ones type thing. Oh, we can let in this gay Muslim who's having sex with trannies into our group, who's probably selling information to the federal government. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's always how it is, and you're not trad and based. Sorry, and like the Proud Boys never
Yeah.
want to talk about race either. Oh, well, this black guy's conservative. What does that matter? Hey, idiot, you're still being replaced, you fat chud. But
Yeah.
going on, do you how J6, because that obviously everyone was at J6 rioting and fighting. I knew a guy personally who was arrested for J6. How many feds do you think were at J6? Because obviously they gave us a number. Do you think that number's true?
I don't even know the number if I'm being honest. When J6 happened, that's when I was a progressive. I used to be like a progressive liberal at that time, right? Because I was in high school and I was just like super sheltered, so I had very like left leaning politics. But now I kind of realize like there was like a lot of like federal behavior there, and there's some truth to it. Now I thought it was just like loony conspiracy at the time, right? But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't give you an exact number, but
Um,
there's probably a decent amount. I tried to lead people into the building.
yeah. I mean, the, I remember someone made a video back in 2021 about every person who said we should go storm the Capitol. They had like 20 people in this video who were actual like federal agents, sparking up conflict. And you said you were a progressive. What radicalized you?
Oh, a lot of things. So it's gonna be a lengthy story.
Go for it.
So I mean, I was a Trump supporter in 16 when it was really unpopular to support Trump. That was basically like supporting Hitler at the time, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that was it was super unpopular. Everyone fucking hated you. You basically lost your job, had no friends at that point. So, but I mean, I was super young though, so I was like 12, 13 years old when I first got into like that type of politics, you know. Yeah, that's what started my realization of like the H-1B and illegal immigrants and all that. Like that's where I figured out about that stuff is Trump, right? And then I was watching like Ben Shapiro destroys liberals like shit at the
Like everyone
time. Here
does. Like
I
everyone
was like,
does.
yeah, like Ben Shapiro's so based. He talks so fast to these liberal college students. He's so based. And then that's where I found out about Owen Schroyer, and he was doing the exact same thing, right? But then I figured out he worked for Infowars, and that's where I found out about Alex Jones, Pizzagate, Infowars. That's where I started to get into like that, like the that level of politics. Um, when I figured out that level of politics, I was you know what iFunny is, right?
I funny?
Yeah,
Go
I
into it.
was in this I was in this super niche community of like these alt right guys on iFunny. They're posting about Jews controlling America, Somalians. I don't know if I could say this word, but I'll say graping people.
Hmm.
Somalians raping the fuck out of like innocent white women, white birth rate, white replacement, like all this stuff. I was like, and it was too much for me at the time. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I looking at? So, and I'm like 13, 14 years old when this is happening. But I leave politics for a minute because I wasn't happy with how the Trump administration went about, you know, just how they went. I didn't like how they did. And I left politics for a little bit. And then I got into high school. I started getting into like progressive like politics, like David Pakman, secular talk, like all that. Because I was like, the right wing is like dead. I need to go left. So that's what I did. And I start going to that side. And then when I graduated high school is when I started to come to the far right. So one of the first things that um really made me like question a lot of the things I was taught and told is women. I run through like a really bad breakup at the time. Like I was like this girl I was dating for like a year, like way over a year. I was supposed to go on a trip with her like 3 days in 3 days, and then she broke up right before we broke up, like right before the trip and all this. And I got a really good taste of female nature for the first time because of that relationship. And that's when I started to watch like the like Myron Zerka, like that type of like red pill content,
Yeah.
right? Because I remember Zerka saying something that I experienced personally. He said, if your girl tells you open up, that's the biggest Medusa test you will ever face in your relationship or something like that. Because I personally experienced that because like my girl was like, open up, please. And I did. And I was like, ah! I start crying like a fucking little bitch. So that was my red pill on women. My red pill on the Jews was actually Zerko was my funnel to Nick. So I figured out about Nick because of him. And he's debating destiny on like Israel and
Mm-hmm.
Jewish power. And I'm like, okay, I've heard this stuff before, right? Going back to like the iPhone stuff. I'm like, I've heard this stuff before. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna actually like unbiased analysis, unbiased lens. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna figure out if there's any truth to this Jew stuff. And holy shit, there's a lot of truth to it. Holy shit. It, it's really it's really shocking when you first figure it out. It's like holy fucking shit. It's like all the things they told me that were like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories were true. It's like, oh my lord, that was like my red pill on Jews. And my pill on race, my red pill on race was literally black people, if I'm being like totally honest. Like I walked outside of a 7-Eleven I was at when I like just graduated high school, right? This is when I started to go to more of those like dangerous like city areas, right? But this is like the better part of the city. Um Walk outside of a 7-Eleven I turn my head to the right because there's like people over there. I'm trying to see what they're doing. and there's this homeless guy sitting on the sidewalk. He's just sitting there. He's just eating his food, minding his own business. He's not even on the sidewalk. He's like a little bit away from it, right? And then this black guy comes up to him and fucking boom, kicks him in the head as hard as he can, and his fucking food goes flying everywhere. And I was like, I was so shocked at the time to see that because I've never seen like anyone do something so fucking evil, right? That's like evil, bro. And instead of it'd be different if the black guy was like, fuck, I should have done that. That was like wrong. But he laughed and he walked away. He was like, he thought that shit was funny as fuck. And I was just like, holy, it shocked the fuck out of me. And I was with a few of my buddies, and one of my buddies, he's like ginormous. He's like 6'8". This other black guy who was just as tall as him, like calls him over. He's like, hey, yo, come here. And then buddy goes over. He's like, why the fuck you in my face? He's like, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, holy shit. So, and then we're just like, okay, we got to get the fuck out of here, bro. I don't know what the hell's going on. So we leave. And that made me like question. I'm like, were the racists correct? Like, were the racist people correct all this time? Like, what the fuck? Like, and then I look into race realism and crime stats, and there's a lot of truth to it statistically. Like the black violence it's a huge issue. So that's basically my whole red pill. It was a pretty lengthy story, but
So I got a question. Was the homeless man white?
yeah.
See, I see that as a common trend. It's like, and I talked about this on the Paint the Town Red podcast. When white people are a minority in an all-black town, they get destroyed. Like, it is just a constant battle for survival. I've heard many stories from good friends who have grown up in all-black communities where it's like, you're fighting every day. You just know you are. You're fighting for your life. But
Yeah.
if that was an all-white community and there was a black person who gets beat up, the whole town is getting investigated and ransacked. And
Yeah. I mean, it's so rare. Well, it's so rare too for like that to happen when it's like white on black. That's way more rare than black on white.
It never happens.
So yeah.
When does that ever, like,
Yeah.
unless we're talking about some like 100 population town clan territory in Georgia. I mean, you literally never see this happen anymore. And also, white people have lost this sense to even protect their own communities, because back in 60s all the way to the 90s, when white people protect their communities, they're the ones who get arrested. Like the whole Daniel Penny thing. Like, he chokes out this savage on the train when every single person there is like, oh yeah, well, thanks to Daniel Penny, I'm safe. That black pregnant woman who is, thank God for Daniel Penny. But this guy still gets arrested and everyone's cheering for this guy to be killed. It's like, hey, retards, this dude just saved everyone's life because this guy was chimping out on the train trying to kill people.
Yeah, exactly. People, I don't get it. Like he literally saved someone's life. He saved you said a pregnant black woman. Yeah, like he saved her life, and these people are crying racism, crying this, crying that. It's like he probably didn't even want to do that. You know what I mean? He probably wasn't looking for a fight that day. You know, but I mean, he's a hero. He did the right thing. We need more vigilantes like that. We need more white saviors.
I agree, and I mean, I guess we can go to Chud the Builder a little bit here. The Chud the Builder case was like, he has now the record highest bond in his county. The second highest bond is a black man who murdered his girlfriend in cold blood, and he has a bond of $550,000. That was the second highest bond. Chud the Builder gets attacked, defends himself, and now his bond is at $1.25 million.
He has a bond hearing on Wednesday, apparently.
We'll see how that goes. Why do you?
Yeah, we're gonna see. He actually. There's people on Twitter. It's just a rumor at this point that are investigating the case. They say they're waiting for the money to hit the account. So if that's true, then he actually might get bailed out. So we'll see though. It's just rumor at this point. But if there is a bond hearing,
the bond money, like the funding, outside funding, I heard.
Yeah, they blocked the funding money, but apparently Duel is going to try to bail him out, apparently. So we'll see if they allow it, because it was the bond hearing was supposed to be last Wednesday, but they pushed it back. Obviously, they would do some shit like that, right? So yeah, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, Chud defending himself, lead witnesses literally in the investigation literally say the gun wasn't fired until they were on the ground. So he has a really good case for self-defense if he doesn't get bailed out. And if he doesn't actually win this case, then dude, like, free speech is dead. Like, black people aren't going to be held accountable for their actions. Yeah, I understand he said stuff we didn't like. I have my disagreements with what he says too, bro. Okay, but I'm not gonna go up to him and beat him up. I'm gonna
Well,
go up to him and commit acts of violence. You
not
know what I
only
mean?
does
And
he
with people
say
I
freedom of
disagree
speech
with in
dead,
general.
freedom of speech is dead, but it's also dead in red states. Like if this was in New York or like California, like, oh yeah, well he's screwed. But we're talking about Tennessee. We're talking about a red state. But also it's the same as my state here in Florida, where if I said something critical of Israel and burn an Israeli flag, I'm going to jail, and that's not freedom of
Yeah, it's
speech.
retarded.
So
Yeah,
it seems like it's always either Zionists, Jews who are putting the hammer down on white people for speech, and then once they get into the judiciary system, it's a white liberal judge who is just brainwashed and believes in second chances for every black criminal who comes in and murders his girlfriend. But
yeah.
when a white man defends himself, then the white liberal judge says, "Oh no." And it's it's it took a long time to build this up perfectly, to have the knee on our neck and we cannot breathe. And I don't think we didn't get here overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight. How many years do you think we genuinely have left?
Until we become a minority, or we lose like what?
America just collapses.
Oh, America just collapses. Yeah. How America's 250 something years old, right?
250 this year.
Okay, that's usually when people say how long empires last, 250 years. So it maybe next decade or so, next decade or two, like when me and you are probably going to be start having children, right? If unless it gets so bad where people can't even have children at all, right? So I mean, like I'd say probably let's give it next decade or two, and
We'll
maybe
see.
a collapse will happen. But that's when we take power, though. So
I
collapse
think
happens.
it has to start at a local level. I mean, we're not going to, federally is just not going to happen. We shouldn't even pay attention really to the federal race as if we have a chance anyway. We can obviously watch and pay attention to it, but what I'm saying is we shouldn't act like we're going to get something out of it. Just because Vance is right wing and says something harsh on immigration doesn't mean that
Trump does
we
that
won't have
too,
the
bro.
record of
Yeah.
H1Bs coming in this year.
Yeah, Trump does the exact same thing. He says the base shit. He says, "Get this trash out of my country." He's talking about the Somalians. It's like, yeah, you're saying the right things, but you're not doing the right things. That's
Mhm.
that's my issue. That's why my issue with the first Trump administration. They were saying the right things, but they weren't doing the right things.
Yeah.
Right?
The
And
first administration was so
they're
pointy.
doing now what they did the first term. They backed down on the illegal immigrants. Oh, we're only getting rid of the criminals, guys. It's like, come on.
And
And they
why?
backed
Because
down
you have the
on no
same
new
values.
wars as well.
Hmm. It,
Yeah,
it
they
seems
backed
like
down on no new wars, bro.
it's
It's insane.
backing out because of pressure from either the left or just Zionist Jews. Oh, the leftists are protesting outside of our ICE facility in LA. Oh no, in New York City, New Jersey. So we back down on immigration. Let's not forget, you guys were making a martyr out of Charlie Kirk and saying we're gonna end leftist violence, but ICE agents are getting
Yeah.
their arms bit into in New Jersey and cut, and nobody cares. Oh, we'll stop now. We'll stop now. Don't get too rowdy. The right is just so weak right now when it comes to just
Yeah.
putting their foot down. That's a many of reasons because they're not, well, number one, a lot of right wingers aren't allowed to organize, and when they do, it's always one side. The police will always arrest the right wingers before they do the
Or
leftists.
it's infiltrated like January 6th.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like it's always infiltrated. And like, dude, these protesters, the Newark, there's like another ICE raid going in Newark, New Jersey right now. Dude, these protesters need to be arrested. They're constantly breaking the law. They're constantly blocking the cars, blocking the ICE agents, throwing shit at them, throwing water at them. It's like all of them need to be arrested, bro. Like the police need to go into those crowds and arrest everyone. All of them are breaking the law. They're all obstructing justice, etc. It's like we want to actually get effective ICE raids done. We do need to arrest them. They're just consistently blocking. But I just know they're not going to do anything. I just know
No.
ICE is not going to actually deport enough people to make an actual dent. I just know the police won't arrest the protesters, and I know that none of these people will be prosecuted. They're going to get away with throwing rocks in the police window or in the police car window. They're going to get away with it, bro. It's like annoying as shit. I wish the administration would just put the fucking hammer down, bro. Just lay the hammer down and just say enough is enough and get these protesters arrested, man.
But that's kind of like you said. Vigilantism is so important because you have people like Kyle Rittenhouse who were attacked and he defends himself. no one feels, especially if Chud loses this case, many people won't feel that they have the right to defend themselves anymore, because if they defend themselves when they're on the ground being attacked and shoot somebody, they're the ones who get arrested. They're the ones who get
Yeah.
persecuted. And the excuse is now, like all these like retards on X are saying, well, the black man had PTSD, so when he saw Chud, he just couldn't control himself. Is that really what we are going with right now? I see just so many excuses for why we should throw Chud to the wolves. It's
They
like
wouldn't say that if the roles are reversed.
No, of course they wouldn't.
If I wailed out on a black guy for having PTSD because he made a video about how he doesn't like white people or something, like they wouldn't say the same thing, bro. Like,
No, of course not. They will send over $1 million to Carmelo Anthony, so he can go to prom and have a nice Rolls Royce in his driveway. But
yeah, bro.
when Chud gets funding from everyday average normal people, oh, they can't use that for his bond. I just see it's like the water is boiling, but instead of adapting to it, it seems like people are just going to get more and more antsy. And violence, I don't want violence to come. But that's what it's being pushed to, and that's just what history teaches us.
I mean, yeah, people are already getting violent, right? But yeah, I don't advocate for violence. I don't like that.
Yeah, me neither. But what do you know about the Return to the Land group?
I'll give my thoughts on Return to the Land. I think it's an effective strategy in the moment. In the moment, that's the important word. In the moment. The long term, it's a bad strategy, and why it's a bad strategy long term is most likely we're gonna get forced diversity laws. It's just most likely gonna happen, so it's not gonna be effective long term. And we need to infiltrate society. We need to infiltrate society and integrate. Right? We need to take positions of power. If we retreat, we don't really win our country back. Yeah, we retreat and like maybe they have some forced diversity laws, and even if they don't have forced diversity laws, we still don't take our country back. Really, it makes a lot of sense on paper for a short term, strategy, but for long term, it doesn't make much sense, right? Because they also want to self sustain. They want to have schools and electricity and all this, right? They want to self sustain. It's not that it's just a community. It's like a whole like kind of like town where they self sustain, right? So that's my thoughts on it. I like Arvel though. I think Arvel's a good guy.
Oh yeah, I probably talked to him like once a month. He's a really genuine person, and I remember when I started my political content. I didn't have like anything but 20 subscribers on YouTube and 30 followers on X. I hit him up. He was like, "Yeah, I'll come on the show," and I was baffled by that because most people who get a lot of fame become arrogant, and it's like we have to be able to build the movement in every way, shape, and form. And the reason I bring up Arwal is because white people are not allowed to have their own communities. Have
Yeah,
you seen the most recent incident with this where a Jewish woman applies with her black husband
yeah,
and they get
yeah,
rejected from joining Return to the Land, and now she's suing them. Jew me,
yeah.
sue
She's
me.
suing
And
them
it's like,
now.
hey, we don't want you being anti-Semitic, but as a Jewish woman with a black husband, I'm going to sue your group and try and shut you down. They just
Yeah.
keep pushing their own stereotypes more and more onto us, and they wonder why people like you sitting there drumming and just making like anti-Semitic comments.
Yeah, I mean that case is so dumb. There's nothing wrong with the all white community. That's not my issue with the community, by the way. There's nothing wrong with an all white community. Like I personally don't care if there's like an all black community or a Mexican or all Jewish. Like I don't really care.
Me either.
Really, it's just that the all white community is attacked and people are coming for it and suing and they're constantly coming under like legal threats. It's like they can have it. Blacks, Jews, Mexicans, Hispanics, Asians, they can have their own communities, but then whites are not allowed to for some reason. It's like whites are not allowed to. It's and whites are not allowed to if a Jewish woman is upset. It's like, come on,
Hmm.
what the fuck?
And again, this has been like this since the civil rights era. I mean, the civil rights era was completely like communist Jew ran. And then
Yeah,
obviously white liberals were used heavily too. It's because like this like bootlicking towards black Americans has made black Americans more of a victim. Um and I think like victimhood and desegregation has been the worst thing for the black community. I genuinely believe that if desegregation never happened, the black community would still be having high marriage rates and fathers would still be in the home. Um, since the civil rights era, now you have diversity, killings, violence through the roof. 73% of single mothers in America are black. It's just like this epidemic of single motherhood. And we kind of went into earlier how you got red pilled on feminism. How do you stop single motherhood in the country?
Well, there was a time, it was about 1950s, 1960s, where the black community actually had higher rates of motherhood in two-parent households. There was a time, right? So we need to stop like incentivizing it. Like these single mothers, these mud sharks are all getting on welfare when their baby daddy leaves them, and they're kind of like incentivized to like be single moms. They're like getting paid to like have all these kids and like no father, right?
Mm.
So that's definitely the biggest thing to use to help help single motherhood. And the thing about the desegregation thing is like, yeah, like, and yeah, maybe what you're saying is right. But I mean, just what we need to do right now, the police just need to crack down, bro. The police just need to get more strict. They need to go to the areas with the crime, and that's typically blacker areas. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? They just need to be more strict. They need to crack down. Okay, we can talk about segregation, this, that, but for right now, the police just need to get more strict. The police
But
need to just go where the crime is at.
how do they crack down when the entire like the media is really strong on the police since like Rodney
Yeah,
King, like the whole Rodney King incident? They're beating this poor black man to death. Well, they don't tell you is he was high off of his mind and they had a high speed chase through 3 county lines. What they don't tell you about George Floyd is he was on fentanyl. Like you can watch the security camera footage of him in the gas station. He's sitting there like shaking and losing his mind in the gas station.
he was also resisting pretty hard. Like you see the body cam footage, like they were
Yeah,
trying to get him in the car. They weren't even really being that aggressive with him, but he was just resisting super hard. So and they needed that technique they used where they put his their knee on his neck or his upper back. Like that's just a standard police technique that they use, right? And that case wasn't even racial. The George Floyd case, like most of the cops weren't even white. Like most of the cops weren't even white. The police were called on him because he slipped a fake 20, right? That's why they were called, right? And he wasn't targeted because of his race. So I think Derek Chauvin should be freed, and we have to stop being afraid of like the media trying to pressure us into like backing down because that's what they want. Like the reason why they're putting the worst part, like the knee on the neck, they're highlighting that part and nothing else, is because they want us to like back down, right? But we shouldn't be afraid. We shouldn't back down, man.
I completely agree. I think that the police have just been demoralized since 2020. I think
They're
police
really
are like,
afraid they're gonna end up like Derek, bro. Yeah.
yeah, for what? The Minneapolis police training has exactly what he did in their manual. Like he did things quite literally by the book. And you're locking this guy up for what? And honestly, in my opinion, Derek Chauvin was cleaning up the streets. We're talking about a guy who robbed a pregnant woman, pointed his gun at her stomach, posed as I think he was an electrician to get in someone's house, and then 4 other men came up and robbed the house with him.
Yeah, that case is messed up.
We're talking about a
Yeah.
little piece of garbage of society, like the trash on the bottom of my shoe. And this
Yeah, I
guy
wouldn't
gets
even
away
really
with all of it.
rehabilitate someone like that, you know? Like if I was like the judge, I would like after that case, I wouldn't have rehabilitated him. I probably would have given him the death penalty, you know?
And I think the death penalty is a very valid thing in a society as broken and just destroyed as ours. Like we're not talking about
Yeah.
Iceland or Norway where they actually can rehabilitate people. We're talking about the united diverse melting pot states of America where
Well, yeah.
illegal aliens stab girls and throw them under bridges. I mean, that we don't see that happen every day in Norway, but we see 9 murders every weekend in Chicago. It doesn't
Yeah,
stop.
exactly, bro. I mean, just like in general, I really don't believe in rehabilitation no matter who. Like if you're stabbing people and throwing them under a bridge or putting a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, no matter who you are, I don't believe in rehabilitation, bro.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we're getting too tolerant when we try to be like, "Oh, but we can." No. Gotta cut it off somewhere, man, you know?
Yeah, if you put children's lives in danger like that, you gotta go, dude. And I think anyone
Yeah,
who puts
exactly.
children's lives in danger, you just gotta go, man. And I don't think most of society would care if you take out someone who is threatening their kids. Do you want this guy? do you want someone like this person rehabilitated walking in your neighborhood? Even if they are rehabilitated, it's like if a sex offender has come to his senses, he is a better
Yeah,
person.
bro. I live around sex offenders, bro. That's insane. It's like what the
Yeah,
fuck? Like,
that's like minor forms of segregation like that would be good. They should all be sent to different communities. Like they should have their own places. No one should have to live around these people because we have reoffenders. That happens all the time where people who are like, okay, I'm good now, I've done my time, and then they reoffend. And then there's
yeah,
other
bro.
people.
And it makes people think twice. I mean, it's gonna make someone think twice when there's a zero chance they're gonna rehabilitate if they do some fucked up shit like that. It's gonna make them think twice, man.
Mhm.
I think being so strict on it will just drop crime rates significantly.
I agree. And you're pushing fathers to really snap one day. Like there's going to be
Yeah.
one dad who's going to lose his mind when he figures out what's going on with his son or his daughter, and he's going to kill someone. And the majority of the public will not care. But the
Yeah, I
judiciary will
saw
still put him in behind bars.
yeah, I saw this my dad showed me this video. This guy I think like raped his daughter, and then the dad, when he was being sent to prison, the dad went up to the guy and actually shot him in the head while the police were escorting him. So like, yeah,
Yes.
you're right about that. Yeah.
And I could care less. Actually, I know that story. That was in Texas. Go figure. And they were escorting the man through an airport lobby, I think. And the dad was acting like he was on the phone, and then he turned and shot the guy in the head. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's just again.
They
That's
actually let him. They let the dad
choice.
off too.
Yeah, they let him off, and he should have.
Yeah.
But the thing
Yeah.
was,
Exactly. Yeah.
there were like mass protests outside the courthouse. I think the judiciary system knew if they locked up this guy, there'd be hell to pay. But that's kind of like what we need with the Chud the Builder case. But even when I know like you said Jake Lang is a plant. What did Jake Lang do to get arrested a few days ago in the courthouse and put in solitary for 10 days? It's still a violation of freedom of speech, in my opinion.
Yeah. I
And
know.
I think this was any
Yeah.
other case, it wouldn't have been that harsh. Like, escorting him out of the courtroom is fair. I think that's very valid. 10 days of solitary confinement is unnecessary for saying something in a courtroom. It's just not that serious. And that's
Oh
what they're trying
yeah.
to do. They're really trying to bury this case. What do you think is the future for, I guess we could say, the alt-right, if that's still the name, the far right? Because we have ex-leaders of the far right. Like Steve Bannon was the guy back in like 2014 and 15. And then it was like Richard Spencer. That was like peak era, in my opinion. And then we kind of moved into a few, it was kind of a choppy bit of members. And now like Nick Fuentes seems to be taking over the main limelight. Who do you think is the future of the far right?
Who was the future of the far right? Either the Frojax brothers or yeah, either. Never really thought about that because I really like the Frojax brothers. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go big. Fuck. Yeah. Other than Nick Fuentes, mm, yeah. I don't know. I can't think of any names right now other than those two.
And looking back on 2017, I'll say this. Looking back on 2017, it was like Richard Spencer was the guy. But now we kind of live in a different area where you have a bunch of like almost minor heads of this. And I think that's much better for the movement because you won't have just, you're not like, it's not like a cult of personality thing where you're worshiping one guy. Um, what do you, how important do you think music is to society?
Well, I think it's super important. I think it brings people together. Like when you go to a show and you guys all have same music interests, helps you make friends, helps you find partners too. Which I don't think you should be finding your partners at like a rock or metal show or a rap concert. So, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, but it can help you find partners. It can help you find friends, which I feel like is more important. Connections as well. You get to meet the band members, potential job opportunities with them as well. It's super important. Brings people together.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly important. And I know a lot of like the self help guys advocate against like listening to music and not like necessarily just listening to music, but overconsumption of music. And like, yeah, I can agree with that. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's super important, right?
I
It's existed
completely
for a
agree.
long time too.
I mean,
Yeah.
how many metal shows have you been to?
I've actually only been to a few, right? Because they're always like super far away.
Yeah.
So they're always like an hour away. So I would go to them occasionally. right? They're a lot of fun. My first ever mosh pit, this guy who was like twice my height, twice my weight, he elbowed me in the mouth. Oh my god, that hurt so bad, bro. He fucking elbowed me in the mouth. I thought my teeth fell out because I felt something hit my tongue. It was my retainer I had at the time, right? Um, I thought he knocked my teeth out, but then I grabbed it and it was like, oh okay. I was like, oh shit. But yeah, he elbowed me in the mouth pretty hard. Yeah.
I've noticed everyone at these metal shows are actually like, I know you just had that story, but everyone's pretty nice too. Like it's like
Oh yeah,
music really
everyone there was
brings
pretty
people
nice.
together, and I think music is important to a society. I talked about this on the Paint the Town Red podcast. It brings people together, and I think when you start degrading music in the standard and like what effort goes into music, like if we just start saying like AI make a beat, do this, it's gonna make music worse. It's also gonna just make us more retarded. Uh,
Yeah, bro. The Suno AI shit. Yeah, like I hate to see like all like the music influencers take that sponsorship deal. Right? They're trying to take jobs from people, they're trying to take creativity from people. And I use AI for certain things, right? Don't get me wrong. But when it's just straight up replacing the process and it's not being used as a tool, it's just straight up replacing the process, then it's gonna become a huge issue. Also, Suno AI is owned by Jews, by the
and
way. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a great point, and let's not forget like our ancestors conquered the world, and we can't sit here and grab like like an instrument and just make something with meaning and life to it. It's
Yeah.
like, have we become that lazy and low and shallow as a society? And the answer is, in many ways, yes, we have. I think it's important to have specific things that make us special and have drive to us, because we've lost that. It's all consumer society now, where we can just say, "Hey AI, make a beat and make music," and I'll sing just retarded lyrics over it. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of like all rap. A lot of rap is just singing retarded lyrics about, you know, stab baby mama and EB Tisha taking your kids, all that stuff. It's just retarded. That's another reason why the black community has fallen in the can so hard, because that's all they consume is my kids are on EBT, stab, shoot, steal, sell crack. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never stabbed, shot, or sold crack.
Yeah, I never sold it. I smoked it though. No.
When
Okay.
times get
But
tough,
yeah,
right?
I never done anything like that.
And I understand, but what do you think about passport bros? Because I'm actually pretty anti passport bro when guys complain about how the country is, and then they
As long as
sit
they're
there and
white.
sure, but like I don't like
Yeah.
when guys be like, America has fallen. This sucks, and then they go to like the Philippines or Indonesia or Thailand. It's like, okay, go have sex with a tranny then, you faggot.
I mean, yeah, that shit's. I mean, that shit's obviously gay. And then like they're gonna go like the South America, go find some like brown girl or something,
Hmm.
right? My thing on Passport Bros, if you're gonna do it, gotta be white. And if you are gonna do it, bring them to America. If you're gonna do a white person, bring them to America or something. You know, like at least do that.
It just seems so scumbag to me. Like they always manipulate the population there because their dollar is worth more than their
Yeah.
currency. It just it's like you meant nothing in America. Like your life was nothing, and then you go over there just because a few women like you because they want to get a visa and then wait for you to die so they can take your money. Like that's the whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think about like modern dating in America? Because you said you went through a harsh breakup. What is the state of modern dating, and do you ever see this getting fixed?
Yeah, I see it getting fixed. It's just that men need to get better, right? I think modern dating is pretty messed up right now. I think women are pretty fucking masculine and men are pretty fucking feminine. That's definitely just the biggest issue. And once the men can go back to natural law, the women can as well. They'll just follow. They kind of just follow the trends. What's normal now is to be a boss girl, is to be a boss babe. It's just their nature to follow the norms, right? We are seeing that change a tiny bit, which is good. All right, we need to make the norm like they're like in the kitchen. So, like that should be the norm,
Hmm.
right? That should totally be the norm. But yeah, modern dating is pretty messed up. I think also a big issue on the man side is Dude, it's unbearable to watch some men try to raise up girls. I can't watch that. I can't watch that shit.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
unbearable
cringe.
sometimes, bro.
It's
Yeah,
cringe.
like they're really bad. It's just
Mhm.
ugh. But
It's so
like hey
harsh.
beautiful, can I get your Snapchat? It's like
And then especially when they get
yeah.
rejected hardcore, it's like I wish I just never even picked up my phone. It's awful. But I've noticed also with modern dating, you could like guys like us have a very low chance because a lot of women will hate our views. They will despise who we are, but they will always have a sense of respect for us because we just said, "I'm not going to submit to you just because you have something that is valued." You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot
Yeah,
of women
I
are
know
going
what
to
you're
have to
saying.
follow because the problem is men are just like, well, haven't got laid in a while, so I guess I'll go head over there and act like a liberal for a few hours just so this woman will like give in to him. It's so pathetic, and it's like maybe the asteroid should come back and just strike us down. It's so bad when I see men sit there and go, yeah, like women's rights and I hate periods. They're so bad. Just so this girl will show them some attention. It's like, oh my gosh, kill yourself, dude. It's so disgusting. I, the cucking of men has been a long process. Where do you think like it really hit hard though?
For me or for them?
For like all of society, like where do men really get cucked? Do you think it was during the pandemic, the 2010s, the 90s?
I mean, yeah, bro, it's been a minute. Cause like, what was the average man like in the '90s? Blink 182, those like shorts, and like I love masturbating, bro. That was like the average guy in the '90s. Like, yeah. So like, it probably was around there-ish, I'd say.
I it's so cringe to see men like literally ruin their lives and like put on a skirt to make a woman laugh just so he can get some attention from her. It's like, bro, it's not that serious. And those guys like that slow our process down of trying to help society get back into line where they submit to a woman's will. How many
Yeah,
marriages? Let me ask you this: how many marriages have you seen succeed when a man submits to the woman's will?
can't tell you, bro.
It doesn't
Cannot
exist. But
doesn't
how many
exist. Yeah.
men are scared to also tell their wife no?
Oh yeah, they're very scared.
Why do you think so many men are scared to tell their wives no?
They don't have a lot of access to women. That's the only access they have. They don't have abundance, right? And
Hmm.
they're not confident enough they can get something outside of that. I'm not saying go cheat on your wife. I'm not saying go have a bunch of girlfriends. I'm saying have the confidence you are able to get other partners if this one leaves you. Like be confident of that. And what does that require? That requires status, network, looks, obviously, right? Anyone with a high level of status, network, looks, they'll have a huge dating pool of women. So once you can achieve that, then it's really not that big of a deal
Hmm.
if you get left by your wife or your girlfriend, right? Because you have a huge dating pool. So
You do, and I think so many men just are like they've become so non-confrontational. Like they're scared to have conflict within their house. Like, hey, it's actually normal to disagree with your wife. And if your
well, yeah,
wife is saying, "I want to go out with the girls down to Miami and have a girl boss night," and a man agrees to that, he's just signing his death right there.
you're telling her I tolerate that behavior. So that's what you're telling her.
And
You can't you shouldn't tolerate stuff you don't like, bro.
mhm. She's not gonna tell you everything that happened down there in Miami too.
But yeah,
And I mean, how old are you?
I'm 21.
21. You've probably seen a lot of the high school cheating culture and the hoe culture that goes on. How have you seen this affect people's lives from my age to your age?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it affects people's life a lot. Those girls that everyone was like, oh, that's the whores. Those are the whores. Girls that were like that. Yeah, bro. I don't think they have any potential partners now because they threw their value away super early, like in high school. So I mean, yeah, bro. And like the girls that had their nudes like spread around the school, and like, yeah, they don't have much value. It's definitely fucking up the women. The men that were players though, like they got girlfriends and like they're probably married by now. Like I've
Yeah.
seen some people I went to high school with, they're married now. It's like, yeah, they're fine, but like the women, they don't have any like partners. They don't have anyone to like it'll wipe them up. So yeah, it's definitely how it affects both genders.
Did you ever see those guys in school, or like just a friend in general who'd be like, "Oh yeah, that girl's a hoe," but if that hoe gave him a chance, he would take it.
Well, not relationship wise, but he would have sex with her,
And that's
right?
why, yeah,
So
that's why that like if
yeah,
she was like, "Hey, come over," he would take it. It's like the desperation of men has taken over a lot of guys. How do you think we
well, yeah.
remove that desperation? Like you talk about getting stronger. What does it mean to get stronger in men?
It means you have to put your craft first. Women don't come first. Craft comes first. Like this. This comes first. Women don't. Women. You put that on the back burner, right? When you fall in love with your craft, that's when you stop being a fucking simp. Is what I realized, right? Because if the only reason why you do your craft is because you want to attract women, then you're gonna pick the women over the craft. You have to prioritize your craft over the women, and then women will come because of that, right? So yeah,
I completely agree. I think most men don't understand that because they're in the present. They only think in our time right now, where I'm single right now. I'm gonna be single forever unless I start chasing women. Men have this ridiculous idea that they have to chase and they should never chase because if you don't chase, a woman will chase you, and you will know. Women make it obvious if they want to be with you. They will make it obvious. They will hop
they'll give you
on
signals, bro.
girls.
Like when you and a girl in public are eye tagging and shit. That's a signal, bro. Go walk up and talk to her. That's literally what's literally like the most. Like I've had situations like that before. I didn't know it at the time because I was like younger and inexperienced. But when you and that girl at the gym are eye tagging and stuff, go talk to her. That's a signal, bro. That means she's interested. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
How many men are scared to even cold approach? Like how? Like wasn't there a study that 55% of women have, or 55% of men have never actually gone and cold approached a woman? I have cold approached probably two women in the past year and a half.
That's
It
good.
just builds confidence. Even if you necessarily don't see like a massive future with this woman, you should still cold approach her just because it builds confidence and it's better
It
for
helps
you
you step out of
socially.
your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's why people think people should do it, not necessarily because you can get a girlfriend or something.
Hmm.
But it helps you step out of your comfort zone. I think a more effective way to find women is network, like your friends, you know, other places like that. I feel like when you go to the like campfire where all your friends are at, and they have girlfriends and they bring their friends, like that's probably the easiest way to find partners, in my opinion. Uh, yeah, I think right below that probably be dating apps. Like, they weren't that effective for me, but I've had some relationships and some one offs on that, and then the least effective was cold approaching. I've only had one successful cold approach in my life. That's about it. But yeah, so I feel like that's definitely what I think about that.
Yeah, so what do you really think about dating apps as a whole? Because it seems like Tinder is actually now going to charge women more to be on the app because they're having like an epidemic of people just not getting on these dating apps anymore. They've kind of thrown them to the side. What do you think about all that?
Well, I think dating apps need to be banned. I think they're wrong. I quit them about 2 years ago. Actually, no, probably like more like 1 year ago. I used to do them. Um, Nothing good ever comes from them. That's what I've realized. Is either you're gonna get a hookup or a bad relationship. That's about it. If something does come up, I think it's like the bottom of the barrel women on Tinder and all that. So I think they need to be banned. And even if they're not banned, we just need to put it down because there's just more effective ways to find women.
Mm.
So yeah,
No, I completely agree. And this is going to be the final question. Where did you grow up in?
Michigan.
Have you seen the demographic change where you're from in Michigan from maybe
Yes,
you were 6 years old to 21 now?
I have. I saw my all white neighborhood go to a neighborhood full of Arabs and black people. So yeah, so that probably played into my radicalization too. I remember this was recently, like it was like a weekend. And I walk outside into my yard on the side yard, and I look across the street, and there's a fucking there's like a if I say what it is, it probably give too much details away. But I'll just say I looked across the street and these Arab people are stealing shit. Like I literally, I'm looking at them like across the street and they're stealing shit. I'm just like, I'm looking at, I'm being blunt and I'm just like, just looking at them like that, and they see me looking at them, but they just keep doing it, just keep stealing. It's just like, who the fuck are these people?
Mhm.
And it's like, I know the owner of that business too, so it makes me so fucking pissed off. It's like,
Oh.
yeah, it made me so pissed off because I'm just like
Hmm.
just staring at them, and they just keep doing it. They don't care. Like,
So crime has went up a lot since you were
oh
a
yeah,
child.
yeah, for sure.
Hmm. And I see Arabs and Indians especially. Like, I mean, you're right next to Canada. They seem to almost they take pride in a different sense when it comes to seeing, like, black people are doing it for like the cultural, like, yo, this is how many times I robbed this place. Like Indians and Arabs are just like, oh yeah, this is just what we do. It's just like that's a normal day in the office for people like that. It's very weird how
Yeah,
Indians will like these videos of them throwing their trash out in the woods in Canada. They just do that.
yeah,
That is who they are. Black people will film it and like do it for content to take pride in it. Arabs and Indians, that's just their culture to be third world. Like even when you're in Toronto seeing skyrise buildings, like, huh, you know what this needs? I'm gonna take a crap right there in front of this Tim Hortons. That's what I'm gonna do right now. That's what they
yeah.
see. Do you is remigration the only way to bring our nation back from this mass influx of immigration?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I don't believe in total remigration. I believe in remigration to a certain extent. Like first illegals go, then we give dual citizens a choice, and we start rolling out first, second, third generation immigrants. I'd say that's probably would be my system. I don't believe in total remigration where like all non-whites have to go.
Of course, yeah.
But I believe in heavy deportations for sure.
Yeah, I think people who believe that make this nation like an all-white nation are retarded because they don't understand the logistics behind that and how that would even work. What would you
Well, I
define as
understand why.
non-white? Well, I
The
understand
thing is,
why
I
too.
can
What
I can
would you
sympathize with the perspective. So yeah.
I can absolutely as well, but what do you define as non-white? It's like you define non-white as who? Who is not non-white? Because there are some people who are from Cuba who look like you and I, who speak English. I mean, it's going to be hard to say who is and who isn't white. You're going to have to define it more by culture and where you're than just be the color of your skin. Obviously, if we're going by just the color of your skin, a lot of Jews would get by, and that's not what we want.
Yeah, it's not what race is, right? And there's like certain court cases, like Dow versus the United States. He was a Lebanese man who tried to get citizenship, and they denied him citizenship because he wasn't white. And the judge literally said in the court case, "Free white persons means anyone from European descent." So that's what it means. Free white persons, just anyone from European descent. So I'm cool with classifying anyone from European descent as white. Obviously, even though if they are white and they are of bad character, we shouldn't let them naturalize because our Naturalization Act 1790
Yep.
it said free white persons of good character. So we still want good character. We don't just want whites, but we want whites. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So,
completely agree, and I think there's a lot of retards out there who still consider Italians as non-whites, and that,
that just comes from a very common lie. Same thing with the
yeah,
Irish. That just
yeah,
comes from a very common misreading of history. That they thought the Irish and the Italians weren't considered white because they had discrimination, and the Irish were considered white Negroes, and the Italians were Guineas. And well, even though they were discriminated, they were still classified as white under our Naturalization Act at the time, right?
yeah. I'm glad that culture is pretty much dead now. You still have some idiots on the right who still push that, but I just don't. I mean, why make yourself more of a minority? Like we're already on the back foot here, and if you start classifying people as non-white and the enemy, you're making more of a minority of yourself and also making more enemies.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's this huge thing, like a huge thing of like, are Albanians white? Are Slavs white? And I would say, yeah. Like, I would say, yes, they are, right? But yeah, there's this huge like debate. I think Jay Dyer he made a good point about this. Like when he was debating Handsome Truth, he was like,
mm,
he's like, okay, but like you're like, what do you consider white? Or like Slavs not white because they're from this area? And like, I agree with that. I agree with like just saying because you're from this area, you're not or just saying you're a Slav, so you're not white. I agree that's stupid.
yeah,
I don't. I think that's like retarded. You know what I mean? Or like
of
you're a
course.
Balkan, you're not white. Or like you're Albanian. It's like I think that's retarded.
No, I completely agree, and I think it like I said, it is dying out on the right. And I listened, I saw you post about that debate. I was like, this happened because that just doesn't even seem right. You got Handsome Truth and Jay Dyer debating. So I looked up the debate, and I was shocked with how the debate went. I thought they were gonna like really start yelling at each other off the rip. Do you agree with Handsome Truth? Do you like Handsome Truth, or would you prefer Jay Dyer?
I prefer Jay Dyer, but I actually do really like Handsome Truth, if I'm being honest. The thing we disagree on things though. That's the thing. And same thing with I disagree with things with Jay as well, right? He
Same.
doesn't think race is genetic. He thinks it's a social category. I don't agree with that. But Handsome Truth believes race is genetic, and I agree with that. But he's also very anti-Christian, which I'm not. So there's things I disagree with. I used to hate Handsome. He kind of grew on me though, because I can't lie, the dude's fucking hilarious. Like he's one of the funniest streamers I've seen in a minute. Like if you watch his streams, you will. It's just I've he's like one of the only streamers I can sit down, start to finish, and watch. Like he's pretty talented with entertainment wise. But when it comes to debating and stuff, he's not the best at it. When he was debating Jay, he wasn't making the best arguments, and he wasn't really understanding what Jay was saying.
Hmm.
So I think he needs to improve in that area, right? But yeah, that's my take on both of them.
Yeah, I like Jay. I'm an Orthodox Christian. I like Jay. I used to watch a lot of Handsome Truth like 2 years ago. When he started becoming more anti-Christian, I kind of distanced myself a little bit, because I still believe Arwal made a case for it. It was like, Christianity had a massive role of why the British Empire was the biggest empire to ever walk the earth, and we can't just say that
Yeah,
Christianity makes empires and white nations weak, because again, America still had segregation when they were Christian. America still had slavery when they were Christian, and I think slavery is wrong. But what I'm saying is, if we're gonna be weak and all lovey-dovey to the third world, then this is not Christianity's fault, because we had all these things while we were a Christian country.
yeah, I agree with that. That Christianity thing, like, yeah, like a lot of great empires were built, based on Christianity, like from Christianity, etc. We can't be anti-Christian in the anti-white movement. I just believe we need white people to group up. So I don't like shit on like pagans. I don't shit on the deists or the atheists that are pro-white. I don't really shit on them because I mean I'm race first. So right, I
Same here.
prioritize that. I believe in Orthodox Christianity too. Like I want to convert to Orthodox Christianity. Right after realizing, I thought a lot of the things I believed in actually went against it. But I realized recently, after doing some watching Jay Dyer, doing some research, a lot of the things I believe in actually don't contradict that. Like you can be a race realist.
Yeah.
You can believe whites are superior on certain metrics.
Hmm.
Like those are the biggest two. I'm like, wouldn't that like be a sin? And but it's technically not. It's technically not contradictory to the Orthodox faith. So, but what is a sin though is like thinking people are lesser in the eyes of God. That is a sin, right? So, I personally, I've never believed that, and right. Also, I was like, okay, but what about crude jokes? Is that a sin? Apparently not. So, you know
Well,
what I mean?
think of it like this too. I mean, the most, I guess, popular Orthodox countries are Greece and Russia, and they are both very nationalistic when it comes to race. Like they are extremely nationalist countries. Like a lot of Greeks
Yeah,
would say, from Greece, would say that you can't even be Orthodox without being Greek. And a lot of Russians are, that's like their culture, is to be Orthodox. That's who they are. Um, Romania is like a massive majority white country. I think it's like 95% white, and they're Orthodox. And we have a case like this with Catholic countries too, like Poland and Lithuania. But at the same time, I think Orthodoxy has skyrocketed in America when we have 600,000 Orthodox Christians 5 years ago. Now we have 7 million Orthodox Christians, and growing. Like it's not going to stop. Do you think that's because the way society is going, and why is Orthodoxy becoming so attractive to young men like us?
but can you say that last one again?
Do you think that the reason Orthodox Christianity is becoming so attractive to young men like us is because the way society is going, and why is it so attractive?
Um, I feel like how Hitler and that stuff has become so popular. I feel like most people are in it for the aesthetic, right? Most people are like, oh, it's based in Christ pill, bro. So like, I feel like that's why most people are into it. Also, yeah, like just like people are just being reactionaries to that as well. So they're converting to orthodoxy. I mean, I personally, I agree with I agree with the church's more mystical approach. That's why I personally like orthodoxy more, and it doesn't. And I can be a race realist too, and I can have pattern. I can acknowledge basic pattern recognition too. so and be an Orthodox Christian. So I mean, that's personally why I prefer. But I think most people are like, oh, it's based in Christ pilled, and like, or they're like, um, what was the other thing I said? Fuck, they're either like, oh, based in Christ pilled, or like, or they're being a reactionary. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably why.
I agree. I think people are on the defensive right now, and they see orthodoxy as like their best fortress. Like that is the castle that they can be safe in. What were you before you were Orthodox, or you're in your conversion process?
So first, like non-denominational, and I started going to this like Baptist church. I didn't really like it at all. I didn't like how unprofessional everyone was. Like they were all like wearing like jeans and like t-shirts, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the hell? So like, I didn't like how unprofessional they were. And then I was debating on Catholicism and Orthodoxy for a long time. Like that was like a huge like it's like which one? It's like fuck, bro. Like which one, bro? It's like I don't know. And I decided on Orthodoxy because like yeah, I like its more mystical approach. So
I understand. I think we're seeing Western and Eastern unity amongst the youth, just because we're in such a like the Zionist heel has been put on Christians, especially white Christian men, their necks. And when I talk to my Catholic buddies, they don't care that I'm Orthodox. They're just like, at least you are a part of the movement that benefits us and our people. And I feel like that's kind of going to be the future of unity of the churches, is not necessarily what Constantinople and Rome says, but it's like the youth are dying out here for safety in their own homes, good cheap groceries, good food that's clean and not sprayed with whatever that's poison for them, a country where they're not a minority. Like that's what people want, and they're not going to care if someone's from the East or the West Church. I don't know what you think about that, because I see the future of Christian America being a lot different than what it was.
well, yeah, I mean the youth. It's gonna be led by the youth, bro. I mean the youth is Christianity in the youth is constantly rising. That's like stats show that, and I think it will be led by the youth, and I believe in a bright future for America. That's basically what I believe. So yeah, you're right about that.
Do you think Gen Z is kind of like the builders of the foundation of the castle right now, and then the generations after us will kind of take the torch, or do you think that this is going to be
Gen
more
Z,
top
Gen
down?
Alpha, right?
Because
Yeah, I Gen Z, Gen Alpha for right now.
what what I kind of think is funny about all this is like guys like us are throwing this content out there about immigration and the Jews, and these Gen Alpha like iPad kids are scrolling all day and they're consuming some of this content. So you'll have like 12-year-olds on the internet who are like insanely red pilled for their age. Like what
Yeah,
we were just saying like bad stuff in Call of Duty lobbies at 12 years old. But now you can ask some kid and he has like the whole JQ manuscript just lodged into his head. And I think that's because of guys like us who push the content out there, and many other people like you said, I think Frojax, they are doing insane work right now, and
yeah.
especially like bringing the right together in a way. Um, there's a lot of disagreements amongst the right that have to be fixed, and I think we right now are seeing that happen, the foundation getting built. But do you think in our lifetime we will see that castle get finished, or are we gonna be like watching into the sunset as it's getting built as we die off?
Yeah, we might see the end of it at the end of our lives, right? So I think that's probably what's gonna happen. We're gonna see it be built at the end of our lives. We're gonna be like, we can die knowing it's happened. Finally, we finally won,
Mm.
but we don't get to experience it. Our kids do though. So
And that's a very fine trade off with me. I just hope
yeah,
they can hold on to it for a little while. I mean, we were given something, the greatest country to ever walk the earth, in my opinion, and it has just gone so downhill. And obviously, we can blame the boomers and we can blame the Jews, but at this moment in time, it is our job to pick up what is broken and piece it back together, or just make a whole new country, which is honestly, I'm not saying like balkanization. What I'm saying is we gotta like make something new out of this ash that we've been given from the older generations. Um, That's another topic. What is your opinion on the boomers and how they have, as many would say, screwed our society up?
well, the thing about the boomers is if you they have their views because they were able to buy a house at a quarter of the price that it is now, right? They were able to buy a house, have a job, support their family, just having like a nice little college degree job, and they're able to afford food, house, all that, right? If when those people grow up, of course, their views aren't going to be very radical because extremism's only going to be on the table when there's extreme issues. So when they live in super comfortable and super nice times, of course, they're going to be like moderate, liberal, right? So I mean, that's just where they come from. And then when the next generation can't even do any of that, of course they're not going to understand, right? Of course they're going to be like, "Well, fuck, blah 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 blah, you fucking lazy ass Gen Z." So yeah,
Well,
that's my
also,
take on boomers.
they don't. We don't have a 55 and up community to run to. They go to their
Yeah,
gated communities, and they're like, the Indians are locked outside. There's armed security at the door. They have their grocery stores right outside or even inside of these neighborhoods sometimes. You and I will never see that. You walk outside your door and you see your convenience store getting robbed. I mean, this is kind
yeah,
of like the life we're living in. We don't have that security like these people have. They'll sit inside of their gates and say, "What's the problem? Why can't you get by?" While we're sitting out here and we're getting stabbed by migrants.
yeah. People are getting stabbed by migrants on the train. People are getting arrested for defending themselves against migrants because the migrants screamed racism. Right? We're seeing police fly down our roads constantly. Like, yeah. So of course, a boomer wouldn't understand that because he looks outside of his neighborhood. It's all white, all clean, all older people too,
Mhm,
right? And he's like, "What the fuck are these motherfucking lazy ass fucking Gen Z fuckers talking about?"
mhm. They turn on Fox News and they just start complaining about everything, and they wonder
Yeah, they
why they're
crack open a
getting it.
6 pack of Bush Light too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Their freaking retirement age money is just so high that they have nothing to worry about the rest of their lives. And they don't really care what happens in the future. They're just going to keep voting red, 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 red. Like, are you going to vote blue in the midterms?
no,
No? You're going to keep voting red?
no, I'm not gonna vote.
You're not going to vote at all?
Nope.
If there was a candidate, an America First candidate in Michigan, would you vote for them and not vote for anyone else?
Depends because that whole America people are gonna use that America first lens and then they're going to say things I disagree with, like Fishback. He said, "I believe in a colorblind meritocracy," which is like, okay, this is like why we started the movement, bro. It's like shit like that. It's
Yeah, I have met Fishback many times. Many, many times. Um, and I will say that I think Fishback is in a spot right now where he's going to need to say some things to get by. And I don't think that someone like him can just win and start getting these wins for us that we need. Like you're not gonna get let into office then just expect to run rampant. Like let's not forget Ron DeSantis signed an anti-Semitism bill in Israel. You can't just win, come in and change the whole state over. That's just not how things work. If you do think that's how things work, you're a fool. Um, what do you think about Casey Putsch though? Do you think he was legitimate?
I don't know. I don't know much about Casey. I never really looked into Casey much.
I know that Nick did not like him, but I didn't know much about Casey either. He hasn't ran he didn't run a very good campaign in my opinion. Like Fishback is running a good campaign because he is 35% in the polls according to Fox News. And also he has insane rallies. He has so many people coming there. I mean, I was at his first rally. It was in Tampa, December 1st. I was there. And even then there was a good 150 people packed into this little bar room. There is an and a fire in the youth right now. They want something, but we've been burned so many times. We don't know who to trust. Like, what would be the vetting process? Like, Crispy Moy sits down with Fishback or whoever. What is the vetting process that you go through? What are the questions that you ask?
Well, what does he consider an American first?
Hmm.
What does an American do? What is that? And most importantly, if we can agree on what an American is, because it really is just a white person. Like if we want to boil it down, right? Are you going to prioritize Americans? And if it's no to both, then I'd say he disqualified. He doesn't qualify.
I understand. Or do you ever plan on running for office?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would totally try to run for positions of power, right? I just think my optics are pretty fucking bad to do that, right? So what I think is what I should try to do is I should try to be like a Charlie Kirk type of figure because I personally I was supposed to debate this guy today, but he never responded to me, so I was kind of annoying. But yeah, I personally enjoy political history, religious. Well, I'm gonna start getting into religious debates. I don't really talk about religion on my show much because like yet again I do want to bring the whites together. I don't want the religion to split us up,
Yeah, I agree.
right? But yeah, I'd probably become like a Charlie Kirk type figure, right? And I also would like to inform the youth, like, hey, you don't have to be a homosexual Christian. You don't have to like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the modern Christian is like very homosexual. You don't have to be it. It's not a sin to want to deport people
Yes.
and and uh and be a race realist. You know, it's not a sin to use your eyeballs, bro. Like it's not. Like, come
Well,
on.
I mean, who wrote the Naturalization Act of 1790?
Or founders, white men.
Alexander Hamilton was the main guy behind it. And Alexander Hamilton was the most outspoken Christian of the founding fathers. And even amongst the guys who are like, oh, Freemasons, all founding fathers were Freemasons, they can all agree that Alexander Hamilton was the realest of the Christians out of all of them. And
Yeah.
if these like just gay Christians, like you said, are gonna sit there and be like, oh, we shouldn't deport people. That's mean. We just need to work with them where they're at. It's like, no, our founders did not intend that. And they'll obviously use the Bible to justify and try and overtake your argument. But even then, we are not going to be bullied as a people anymore by people
Yeah.
who don't appreciate what we have in this country. Like I saw a video the other day. This guy passing by an Indian couple. He said, "America or India?" And the Indian guy was like, "Oh, I think they're both great." He's like, "But which one's better?" "Well, India is my homeland." "Well, get out." It's just that simple. Get out. If you think India is so good, leave and go throw cow feces on each other like you people do.
Yeah. I ask minorities this all the time. I ask them like, "What are you?" They'll say Guatemalan, Puerto Rican, fucking Venezuelan, Indian, whatever, right? I'll ask them, "Okay, like, are you more proud to be American or that?" And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say their home country. And then I just tell them, like, "Okay, if you're such a nationalist for your home country, why don't you live there?" Right? And they're like, "But there's like more benefits in America, and there's better opportunities here." And it's like, why are you such a nationalist of a country that you don't even really like? You like America more, obviously, but you're more of a nationalist for your home country. So like, it makes zero sense.
Yeah, especially Puerto Ricans. It's like, hey, we own you, and you're flying your flag. Over half the Puerto Rican population is on welfare. What is so special about your people and your country? You people are slaves to welfare. There's nothing special about Puerto Ricans. No offense to my boy Simon LaPret. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a great guy. But
I know him, yeah.
a great guy. But Puerto Rico sucks. That's why America's better. That's why Puerto Ricans come here. And they
Well,
always
that's why
blame,
they let it come here, yeah.
yeah, they always blame the elders of Puerto Rico. Do you think the founding fathers were sitting there going, the British, what are we gonna do? The redcoats, there are elders. I guess we gotta get on welfare. That wasn't even an option. You didn't have that. It was like, oh no, we're gonna go throw the tea in the harbor. We're gonna start a revolution. Now it's just like, well, guess I'm gonna go to America and live off the government because it's such an easy thing to do now. That's all these people do. They don't have the fire in them like white
We
Americans
allow
or
them
white
to do that
Americans do.
too.
100%. We let it
Yeah.
ride clean. Even if they don't qualify for welfare, they still get on it. But how many white people actually are like willing and happy to be on welfare? Like a lot of white people be like, I'll push through it. Like most middle class, if you have like a middle class blue collar dad, he will work 10 hours more a week to not be on welfare. I've seen this with my own eyes. White people don't want that. And what do you think it is about white people that don't want to be on a welfare or a slave to the system? Obviously, there are exceptions. Well, yeah, retards. But
Yeah.
what do you think it is that white people are just like, no, we'd rather just work and get things done?
I think is because we're the assimilable. We're the assimilable people. The non-whites, they don't assimilate. Obviously, yeah, exceptions. Okay, yeah, there's exceptions, but for the most part, general rule, Europeans they're the assimilable, right? They can assimilate really super well. The non-whites they usually don't. They don't feel guilty that they're taking so much money off welfare. The Europeans do. Right? The Europeans would will go out their way to try to find new work if they need to take welfare. Right? It's just the reason why they are like that is because they just can assimilate to here to America, right? To American culture, and the non-whites they just can't. They've proven it time and time again.
And you said it a lot there, which was all true. And you look at white people on welfare; they're stressing. Oh, I gotta get it. I gotta get a better job. I gotta do this. But then you look at Indians on welfare. They pack 16 people into a house, and their fridges are full. Like, there's no care in the world. Like, EBT should go into Walmart. Remember, like, the EBT shutdown was like a massive thing. I'm gonna go steal from Walmart. I'm gonna feed my kids. It's like, okay, you don't care about nothing. You're gonna just steal. White people are sitting over here like, oh, I gotta get a new job. I gotta get out of here. Like, they want to make it out of the hood. Black people are just like, they soak in it for some reason. And it's just, why? Why do you love being on food stamps? Slavery ended. Slavery ended, and they still choose to be a slave to welfare and Section 8 housing. It baffles me, man. It really does. It baffles me. They preach white man enslaved us. You are enslaving yourself to to garbage culture that preaches violence and gang, drug, all that just degeneracy, and then you become slaves willingly to welfare in Section 8. How I mean, like you said, police areas. How do you get this welfare, this to stop this welfare mooching all the time? How do you stop that?
Mm, if I were to stop, welfare mooching, they have to prove that they are actively looking for new lines of work, right? I would try something like that. They have to actively prove they're looking for new lines of work. They're not just taking welfare, and I wouldn't accept like them posting on social media as finding new lines of work, like no, like literally like actively job hunting, right? Like that's probably what I would do, right? Um, Also limits of how much government assistance they can take as well. But I think that's probably the biggest thing. They have to actively prove they're looking for new lines of work, right? And if they do need help, we could totally help them.
And do you think we should like completely revise the welfare system? Like, oh, you get welfare for 2 weeks. If you're actively not pursuing a job, you're off.
Yeah, I would do something like that for sure. Yeah,
Because you talked earlier about being less tolerable to these things. I think welfare is a massive thing that we just have so much tolerance on, and we just let
yeah.
we get robbed, not blindly. Like, we see them taking it from us. It's like your story, like that American taxpayers sitting there watching across the road as we are being robbed. I
Yeah.
it's insane to me. You got any more takes on this stuff? Anything else you want to say?
Well, yeah. Welfare's a huge issue. I think central banking is also a huge issue. If you want to talk about that for a little bit. If I was the president or something, yeah, it'd be like 2 weeks. Prove you're looking for new lines of work, or done. You're done. You know what I mean? That's totally what I would do. And yeah, like I mentioned central banking because I feel like it's also a huge issue on taxpayers as well. And it's a huge issue causing more and more and more inflation slowly. So I mean that's why I mentioned it.
I completely agree. And usury is a big thing too. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Christ went into the temple and started tearing things up over usury. Like, this stuff is an
Start whipping
epidemic in our
people. Yeah.
society. Like, he should have. And like, we only see Christ get that mad one time, because it's like it was the perfect example of how hard the Jews have fallen. And since then, they haven't learned a thing. And obviously, those are different Jews. Like, the Jews of our time are more genetically close to the Palestinian people in Gaza than the Jews at Israel. Like, Netanyahu isn't even, like, are we going to even count this guy as an Israeli? This guy was born to Ukrainian parents in, what, New York, or was it Ukraine? He wasn't even born in Israel.
Polish.
Polish parents. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you, I guess what I'm trying to get to here is, how do you really push this Zionist influence out of banking when they've already had grassroots in here since what, the late 1800s?
But yeah, expulsions need to happen again. I feel like that's the biggest thing we need to revise. We need to revise central banking and expulsions. They just need to happen, right? For a group of people to go to lengths like that to put people in an infinite debt loop is just it's evil. It truly is evil, right? So expulsions, 100%.
Yeah, debt is such an evil thing, and what they do is, guys like us who are just trying to like make it by in the world to provide for our families or just for ourselves, it becomes impossible. So what happens is, oh well, we can give you this credit card, and this could get you very far. You could use this only a few times, but it never comes to that. It's never like, oh, I'm gonna use this just this once. It's always okay. I'm gonna use it again, and I'm gonna sign up for another credit card plan, and all of a sudden you're $55,000 in credit card debt, and you're struggling. But what do they care for? What do they care? What does
Yeah, what do they
anybody
care?
care? Because guess what? Your neighbor's in credit card debt. Most people are in credit card debt. So nobody cares. They don't care. They want you to be more of a slave. I mean, again, what do you think about credit cards? Because I would be fine with outright just demolishing the entire system.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't own credit cards,
Me either.
right? Yeah, I personally don't own credit cards, but yeah, I'd be willing to annihilate that because these things like we talk about, it just there's debt loops. They're made to get you in debt, right? They're made to pretty much destroy you. So yeah, we need to totally get rid of them. There's other ways to build credit, right? So yeah, I don't like credit cards personally.
I've seen so many lives get destroyed by debt, and I
Yeah.
could not imagine going into credit cards and just ruining my life. And what are you teaching your kids when things get hard? Dig yourself more of a deeper hole. I mean,
And just
that's
go get
quite
more debt, yeah.
yeah, it's quite little ways. And I see stupid women on TikTok having payment plans on everything, and they're digging themselves holes. And they make TikToks like women do this, and it really pisses me off. They're like, so I just got a payment plan, and I'm actually like $300 in debt, but I only got to make a few payments to it. They're so dumb, they don't realize they're still paying it. Well, it just feels better to pay $25 a month. Hey, retard. It still puts you in debt. Like, they're so dumb, they don't understand this. Like, payment plans is just another way of putting you in debt to make you more of a slave to debt and usury. This is just what it is. And that's like kind of the consumer society. To make someone more of a debt or a slave to debt is to make more of a consumer society. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember like sitting in the living room floor as someone who's knee high to a grasshopper watching Cartoon Network. Between shows that I was watching, ads would pop up, and I can't even afford this stuff. What does that do? These flashy ads. Mom, can we please go get this? You become a consumer at the youngest age. So when you start making money, you consume these things. And it used to be people very long time ago, like James Madison, all he would spend 90% of his money on books. Like he would just buy books and knowledge. And then he went to law school. Like everything he bought was to improve himself. But now people
That's
are
what I
just
believe in buying, yeah. Things that improve
100%.
yourself, yeah.
And I said this before, and I want to see if you agree with me. If you cannot look around your room and find books about your history, yourself, your religion, your philosophy, you are failing to improve as a man. I think
Anything that helps you improve. Like
yes,
if you look around your room and if you look around your room and what's on your shelf, video games, fucking your computer's right there, Xbox is over there, your beanbag is right there. It's like, yeah, you're wasting your money, bro. You got to use your money on things that are actually useful. Like you got to use it for if you want to improve your skills and in your sports and have a better grasp on certain knowledge and improving yourself overall and all of that, bro. So I believe in only spending money in things that actually benefit you, not just being a consumer, like you said.
mhm. it, it's an epidemic in our country, and it really ramped up in like the 80s. Like when we and people, it was so high in the 80s that our generation consumes the 80s like heroin. Like we are obsessed with the 80s because it was like perfect lights and neon and consumer society, it was so strong and had such a grip on society that now our generation consumes that. We look back on that and go, oh, the wonderful 80s, when in reality, Ronald Reagan was giving amnesty. Like, this was not a perfect time like everyone thinks it was. We look back on it because that was like the last time America was like pretty peak white.
Yeah, that's why they reminisce about it. They don't realize that, but they reminisce about times like that because they had a strong white majority, right? People are like, "Oh, I miss the '80s, I miss the '90s, early 2000s." Like, you don't miss that time, you miss a strong white majority. That's what you really miss. You
Yeah.
don't realize that. That's more of like a subconscious desire, but that's what they really miss.
Hmm. And can you roll on Venice Beach today with like white people all around listening to like White Snake? That's just not gonna happen anymore. This is not the
Yeah.
80s. You're gonna roll up on Venice Beach and some cracked out black guy's gonna pop out of a tent and just start stabbing you to death. This
There
doesn't
was that
exist
shooting
anymore.
in Daytona in Florida, the beach. There was that shooting there. I've been to Daytona Beach.
Hmm.
It was super nice when I went there, and I just hate to see that. That's just ruined by black people now going there and shooting people. It's just like, come on, bro. That beach was so nice. I went there, bro.
It's like
Awful.
the spring vacation. Have you seen those videos? This we're on spring break, and then like within 5 minutes, it's just like a bunch of people fighting. Aren't you guys
Yeah.
supposed to be relaxing? It's vacation time. Oh, that's the ops out there. I gotta
Yeah, bro.
like just send the asteroid, please. It's getting to that point. But again, I always preach no black pilling, never black pill. Things are getting better. Like in 2020, you and I would not be able to have this conversation. We would have
Well,
gotten
yeah,
ridiculous.
things are obviously getting slightly better. We're about to be the highest. We're already the highest birth rate in America, but we're gonna keep. We're projected to keep rising. The white birth rate's
Uh huh.
projected to keep rising, so that's good.
Do
That's a
you see
white
this
pill.
around you too? Because some people tell me I don't see it. I don't see the white birth rates rising. I do. Actually, most like everywhere I go, I'm seeing a lot more white babies around than I am seeing like a gang of Hispanic families. You know what I'm saying? Or like some like third
Well,
world
yeah.
country. Um,
Well, yeah, the whites are the highest group compared to everyone else, and there's stats showing that people who date outside of their group, interracial couples, have lower birth rates than people who stay inside their groups as well. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, they're definitely the highest, and also we just have a majority stronghold too. That's obviously our birth rate's gonna be a little higher if there's more of us, right?
mhm. And I love to see it. And I
I
think
do too.
what Patriot Front does, and I don't know what your views on Patriot Front, but what they do is when one of their members are having a baby, their chapter comes around and has a baby shower for them, food, diapers, like supplies to support the kid. That's what white people are missing that Latino cultures
Yeah, I
have
agree.
very strong. Latinos, oh, you're having a baby? Just take everything. But white people, oh, you're having a baby. Oh, here's a weighted blanket. Here's a cake for the party. We don't need this stuff. Again, this goes back to a consumer retard society. We need to provide for our communities. And that's why I see what Patriot Front, what Arwal does too, is oh, you're a white family having a kid? And it's just like, I've seen these pictures where their living room floor, half of it's filled up with supplies. That's what we need as white people. That's what we need to see. And white people have lost that. How do you think white people gain that back? That sense of community that we lack so much of?
We need to realize that we don't have it. Once we realize that we don't have it, we can actually gain some kind of consciousness and actually strive to do that. You're 100% right about the Hispanic thing. When what Hispanics will do is they'll all live in the same house, tons of them. They'll all work and they'll all pull the money together to buy something like a new car. White people, they're all like, okay, I'm gonna go buy my car by myself. They're not gonna be like, okay, let's all work together, all pull money together, and then we can buy this new golf cart. Then we can buy this new car. They don't do that. White people are incredibly independent. That's just our nature, and we are going to have to go against it a little bit, right? If we want to succeed as a people group, we are going to have to go against it a little bit and gain some kind of consciousness to where we all support each other in certain ways, like we just said, right?
You're almost going back to medieval times in a way. Like you need to go back to like
Yeah,
a
we're getting
medieval savage
tribal. It's
mentality.
tribal. Yeah,
You have to. I made a reel about that. White people need to become tribal again. We've lost all sense of community. It's a very very simple concept of what do you have if you don't have community? If you cannot have your neighbor to rely on when you need eggs to make something, when you don't have your neighbor, oh, who's a mechanic who you can have help you on your broken car, you have nothing. You have if you don't know your neighbor, you are failing in your community. You're failing your people. Straight up. It's something we miss. It's something we lack as white people, and it's sad because I'm originally from North Carolina, and I'm telling you, the culture, the backwoods mountain culture, is so strong. It's still so community based. But with that hurricane that came through, that was just really weird. That whole situation was sus, where FEMA refuses, and then Patriot Front goes up there to help, and Rundo and Ram go up there to help. That's great. But they're demonized for helping these people who don't have food and water. When FEMA is going, oh, sorry, we can't help, and the local sheriffs are stopping people from helping. Like when white people actually try to be tribal, you get shut down by a Jewish woman married to a black guy, or you get shut down by the local
Yeah.
sheriff's office who says it's too dangerous to cross there. Who cares? We're talking about people's lives. Like people are not eating up there. So I think the mountain Appalachian culture is next to destroy that type of community they have, because that's like the last bastion that
Oh
I see
yeah,
in
for sure.
America of white people having community. That's like the last bastion I see, and
The small towns,
yeah,
basically. Yeah, the
destroy
small
it.
towns.
Overdevelopment. I don't know if like how it is in Michigan, but in Florida, this rage over development has just lit a fire in the state. And these people are going to protest in city hall meetings saying, you people are terrorists for destroying our state like you are, destroying natural beauty of this amazing tropical state. And now we're seeing animals getting displaced, and we're have so much traffic. Well, things are so expensive in Florida. Stop building houses and deport everyone in the state, and things might be a little cheaper.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Do you have that development in
Yeah.
Michigan? Do you guys see that in Michigan, like a mass development, like suburban neighborhoods being popped up everywhere?
Um. Actually, yeah, there would be like this like super big like cropland, and then a company would buy it out, and then they'd build a huge suburb in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I don't really like seeing it though. I don't like seeing that, man.
Me neither. It's very, because I've always loved just some backwoods, man. That's kind of where I grew up. I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up in a very very small town, and I enjoy it. I love to see it. It's tribal. People know each other. If I pass by someone on the street, I'd recognize them by their car. You know what I'm saying? That's what's cool about it. But now I'm held up in traffic in Florida, and it's just hell because they are still like I'll be held up in traffic, and I look to my left, and they're building another development to my left, and I look to my right, and they're building another development to my right. It doesn't stop with this developing. I'm in traffic as far as I can see. Things are expensive, and I still look around, and it's continuing to destroy nature in this beautiful state. Um, yeah. What am I gonna say? Ted Kaczynski was right. I mean, that's like the
Yeah,
biggest thing about this.
that's definitely one of the people I got to research. Ted Kaczynski. People always mention him all the time, but I don't know too much about him. I know they call him the Unabomber, right? I
Yep.
think that's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's all I really know about him.
Do as much research as you can on him. I got banned like 6 times on TikTok for posting Ted Kaczynski edits. So
Bro.
I can't even make like a new account or anything. But I was like so obsessed with him before I was obsessed with politics, because I always thought that environmentalism and Christianity went hand in hand. Like to take care of the earth is to take care of what God gave us, and to destroy everything and make our society dumb, slow, and retarded is going exactly what Christ taught us. Like we're throwing the Bible in the trash if we do that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, you got anything else, man? We're running up on an hour and 40 minutes here. It's been a good show.
Yeah. It's been a good talk. Hmm, yeah. Actually, I don't have anything else. I think we could probably wrap it up here. It was a really good talk. I appreciate you having me on. A lot of good stuff we talked about.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you
Yeah.
coming on. We'll maybe one day we'll go on monkey together. That'd be kind of fun. I've been scheduling I've been scheduling a lot of monkey appointments with the guys I've done interviews with. But where can the people find you?
Oh yeah, by the way, just message me anytime if you want to do another if you wanted
Of
to
course.
collab again. By the way, just message me anytime. I don't care when we do it. Just Crispy Drums pretty much everywhere. You'll find any platform you think of, just put Crispy Drums. Go to crispydrums.com, new merch released, all that. Yeah, world's most basic and famous drummer, baby. All right. Thank you yet again for having me on, bro. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you. Everyone, please go follow Crispy on all platforms and subscribe and like if you want to see more content like this. Thank you.